Hello and welcome to the SMEFocus show powered by MTDCNC. I'm your guest host Mark Weymouth from the Census Specialists Plus Automation. I'm here to carry on the great work this show does in supporting the UK manufacturing sector and highlighting SMEs. My guest today is Sue Johnson, Managing Partner, Inclusion and Diversity Consulting at Odgers Berndtson. Hi Sue, welcome to SMEFocus.
Hello Mark, thank you so much for inviting me.
So I will kick off. Can I ask you to tell me a little bit about yourself and your role at Odgers?
So a bit about me. Well, I'm a wife, I'm a mum, I'm an average tennis player, really good gardener, ABBA fanatic, an ambassador for Cancer Research UK. So many things. In my job, I help clients to be demonstrably more inclusive. I'm really passionate about manufacturing and SMEs. I grew up starting working life at the Sainsbury's Distribution Graduate Scheme in Haydock, moving to Nestle, working across many supply chains around the world, and think it's such an opportunity for society to really focus on being more inclusive in manufacturing, because you're basically going to be more performant, you're going to be safer, and make sure it's a fantastic environment to be attractive to all the talent that we need in the manufacturing world today.
Yeah, I think I found your manufacturing background particularly interesting when we met a few weeks ago, showing, you've earned the stripes of being in this crazy sector, and now you're in a position of trying to help people reform and modernise a little bit. So we were together a few weeks ago at the Women in Manufacturing conference, and I listened to your presentation about how to be a good ally. Obviously putting you on the spot and asking you how could you summarize a whole presentation into a few minutes, but could I ask you to summarize a couple of key points on how people could go about being a good ally in their workplace or a good employee ally?
Absolutely. Well, let's first off talk about, well, why do we need allies? The reality is we can all remember a time when someone said something to us, or we heard something, or we made us feel really uncomfortable. And I don't believe that person meant it. But the reality is in the workplace, we are all different and we need to be respectful of others. And when something happens, it almost takes your breath away. This is where you need allies to really step up in the moment. People say, well, actually, does that mean we can't have a laugh anymore? Can we not have banter? Of course we can. We spend more time in the workplace than we do with our loved ones. But it's recognizing, where's the red line? What's acceptable to me and what's acceptable to others? Are there new joiners in your team? Are there new topics that you're talking about and you don't know what it means to people and how they're going to react? So an ally is somebody who speaks up on behalf of others. So I always talk about the 5 S's of allyship. So number 1 is being a sponsor. So this is where perhaps you're talking about, we need a project team, we're going to look at a new production line. And there's somebody who the people just can't see because perhaps they're not in the kind of visibility, the eye line of the leadership team. So you speak up for others, you're sponsors of underrepresented talent. Someone can be a student. This is where you are interested, you're curious, and you bring into the conversation, I read this, I saw this, what do you think that means for us and our team? So bringing the conversation forward. Someone is a supporter. So this is where you go to someone afterwards and say, oh, I heard someone say that to you and I saw your face. Are you okay? And you'll never say, oh, but they didn't mean it. It's recognizing that you are very empathetic with others. There's this person who strengthens the voice of somebody. How often have we sat in a meeting and someone's had a great idea and almost nobody heard it, but 5 minutes later it was mentioned again and someone's like, oh, that's fantastic. And you say, well, actually building on the original point made by so-and-so. So giving recognition to the person who say it. And finally, it's the person who speaks up in the moment where there's a joke or a comment and someone says, actually, no, that's not acceptable. That's not part of our culture. I'd ask you not to do that again, please. Or I found that offensive. So shutting it down in the moment. So we can all be allies in different ways. And it's just recognizing that which one am I most comfortable with and feeling that I have a voice. So always do something.
Okay, it's interesting. And I noticed at the sessions that I saw a few weeks ago, different people in the different room aligning themselves and could see themselves in one or two different roles. And it's good that there's lots of opportunities for different personalities to sort of be constructive and support. You don't need to be the very strong, very loud individual doing one thing. There's lots of different ways that you can be an ally and help people.
Absolutely. And like I say, and I'll say it again, the most important thing you can do is do something. And people say, oh, yeah, but I left it, 10 minutes, or I left it a day. I won't bother anymore. No, please do it. Go back. Imagine the difference you're going to make to that person, because you're recognizing how you felt, and I want to do something about it. So you can play it backwards and you can play it forwards.
Excellent. This podcast tends to focus on manufacturers, as we've talked about, but particularly SMEs. So a minute ago, we were talking about maybe what individuals can do, but can I ask you to maybe give some advice, some hints? What do you think SMEs can do to be a bit more aware of diversity and inclusiveness issues, and particularly how can they go about improving?
So the first thing to me is recognizing there's a really strong business case behind this. Quite often it's seen, oh, it's a HR topic, it's a bit fluffy. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's absolutely rooted in a higher performance. So I work with factories around the world. Things that we've seen, absenteeism. I've seen factories go from over 10% absenteeism down to 6% by looking at the diversity of their teams. Let me be honest with you. If you have a balanced workforce in terms of gender, women want these jobs. They want to come to work. And so they turn up more, and it impacts on the culture of everybody else. I've seen LTIFR safety improve. I've seen operational plan efficiencies increase. We did a great analysis where for every 10% increase in team diversity, you had a 7% increase in manufacturing output. So take this as a business opportunity. It's not a fluffy topic. And what does it mean to your organization? So talk about it as a leadership team. Do we have groupthink? Have we all worked in the same organization for 20 years? Is it the same team that we've always had? And so that means there's some fantastic strengths within your team, but maybe there's some things that you can't see. Where are the blind spots? How are you representing your consumer base today, but also in 5 and 10 years? So just start to talk about it. Where are our strengths, but where do we need to work on? And it doesn't mean we're going to fire people tomorrow. It means, okay, how about our hiring policies? How about the culture that we have? How about our promotional approach? What's our future leadership team going to look like? Who works for us? How are we representing the local community? And so talk about it, understand your business case, get that sense of why and sense of urgency, because nothing's going to change unless it's going to help you. So, how's it going to help you? And then also think about evidence. I find that people actually start to act because you get what you inspect, not what you expect. And so I find manufacturing organizations are pretty hot on the KPIs. So start to look, take your organization as an onion and think, okay, if I peel it a little bit, where are we looking by level, by grade, by function? Are there clusters? Are there in groups? Are there out groups? What do you look like? Because once you've got the evidence, that's when you can start to make an action plan and move forward. And so that's what I would recommend. And, please reach out to me if you like a conversation about where you should start.
Okay. If people were looking to try and find you, to reach out to you, how would they go about finding you, Sue?
You can go to the Odgers Berndtson website, or you can email me on sue.johnson@odgers.com.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. So the question we always kind of wrap up the show with, and perhaps one of the most interesting, because we never know what the answer is going to be, but what's in store for you for the next 12 months? What are your hopes and ambitions and reality?
Well, I'm in the year, my eldest is going to do GCSEs this year. And so that's a new starter for me with 2 lots of mocks. And it's very different to back in the day when I did it. So I think that's my home life, juggling. And from a work side, we're finding now post-COVID, everyone's definitely back in the workplace. And so I'm really enjoying going around factory sites and doing training, where the value gets added. So a real shift from virtual to in-person. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing a lot of in the next 12 months.
Excellent. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm fully with you. There's still something magic about being back in a factory and away from these computer screens and monitors and cameras even. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sue. I hope that people found this brief chat of interest, and particularly you're there talking from a manufacturing perspective, talking about KPIs, talking about OEE improvements, talking about making more money, being more successful. So I'm hoping that chimes with some of the audience and they found it interesting. Cool. Thank you very much. Wrapping up, I will say if you want to get in touch with the show with a comment, a suggestion, particularly if you want to appear on a future episode, please email inquiries@mtdcnc.com or contact myself, Stuart Whitehead, or Joe Reynolds. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. From me, Mark Weymouth, Plus Automation. Cheers. Have fun.